Mike Brown takes Joe Burrow for a ride. Mike Petraglia outside Paycor Stadium. Here on Friday, the Bengals had their only full pads practice of the week, getting ready for Aaron Donald and the Los Angeles Rams in the much anticipated Super Bowl 56 rematch inside Paycor Stadium on Monday night. The Bengals out on the practice field, and that included number 9, Joe Burrow. As he did on Thursday, he attended practice, but unlike Thursday, he actually participated. He was in full pads. He was throwing the ball around in individual drills, which he did not do on Thursday. But here on Friday, something important to note. It was Jake Browning leading those individual drills. Jake Browning, followed by Joe Burrow, followed by new third quarterback Reed Sinnett, who was with the Bengals, of course, in training camp. Reed Sinnett taking the place of Will Grier, who was signed by the New England Patriots to their active roster off the Bengals practice squad. So the Bengals had to go out and get a third quarterback, and they did that here on Friday. But when Joe Burrow got done with his stretching before the individual throwing drills here on Friday, it was Mike Brown driving his cart over. He normally watches practice in a golf cart. Well, he drove over to the middle of the field right after Burrow and the two other quarterbacks had finished their jogging part of stretching and warming up. And he invited Joe Burrow into the cart and had about a 30 to 40 second conversation with him in the cart. And then he drove in a half circle and drove him right back to the spot where he picked him up. And we don't know the details or the content of that conversation, but certainly Tyler Boyd had his guess after practice. He told us probably just saying, make sure you take it easy, don't risk it, don't do anything that you shouldn't be doing. Same message from Ja'Marr Chase, and of course Ja'Marr Chase has been telling everybody since Joe Burrow injured that calf back on July 27th and told people on August 30th in front of his locker he doesn't want him back until the 5th week, if that's what it takes to get Joe Burrow back 100%. Ja'Marr Chase, I asked him if he had to guess, does Joe Burrow play here on Monday night? He said no, just because that's what Ja'Marr Chase has been maintaining all along. Tyler Boyd took a slightly different tact. He said, yeah, I think he is going to try and play because that's the kind of competitor Joe Burrow is. So two different takes from two very experienced wide receivers that know their quarterback very well. But again, if Joe Burrow can't go, Jake Browning certainly would be the one who gets his first NFL start, his first NFL action of any kind after coming out of the University of Washington in 2018 and setting all types of school records in Seattle with that Pac-12 school. He certainly is one of the more prolific passers the University of Washington has ever had. May get his chance on Monday night to finally throw an NFL pass in a regular season game. So stay tuned to that. As for Ja'Marr Chase, he had a meeting with Brian Callahan, he told us here on Friday afternoon after practice, saying that he expressed his desire to get the ball deeper downfield. And Brian Callahan, the offensive coordinator, as he told us on Thursday, said he wants to hear that from Ja'Marr Chase because that's what every competitor as a wide receiver should be saying. I want the ball. I want my production numbers to start going up. Ja'Marr Chase has had a tough time getting on track, as, frankly, the whole offense for the Bengals has had doing in the first 2 weeks against Cleveland and Baltimore. And Ja'Marr Chase said he respects Brian Callahan a lot because of that, because the two could sit down for an extended discussion and discuss how can they get, number one, the ball within the realm of the offense without shaking things up entirely, without forcing the ball to Ja'Marr and creating opportunities for turnovers for the defense. And Ja'Marr said that is one thing he will definitely take into consideration. He'll keep working hard to get separation for, if it's Jake Browning, or if it's Joe Burrow again, it's Joe Burrow. But the two had a conversation here in the last 48 hours to talk about just that factor. The Bengals, in terms of the injury front, we already told you that Joe Burrow was back at practice, limited participant. Again, the rest of the roster seems to be pretty healthy. It looks like safety Nick Scott will get to play against his former team on Monday night, the starting safety. Dax Hill is not on the injury report. He suffered a hand injury against the Cleveland Browns in week number 1. And Joseph Asai, he is the other player to keep an eye on. He was, again, a full participant here on Friday. He looks to make his 2023 season debut on Monday night after missing the first 2 games with a sprained right ankle. We'll have you completely covered on X or Twitter.com. Follow me at Trags, Trags. Follow me online, clnsmedia.com. And as always, click and subscribe at the link below for all your coverage inside the Bengals locker room at youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. Outside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.